the problem child. I'm playing, guys. Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, they had their matchup this past weekend along with Amanda Serrano versus Heather Hardy. Two definitely eventful fights, I guess you could say. But before we get into those, we are all takes no whiffs. I'm Christian. That's A Hendy. And yeah, Jake Paul defeating Nate Diaz. Defeated him by a unanimous decision pretty comfortably. Definitely looked like the clear winner in the fight. But honestly, it's kind of what you expected from a you like the best YouTube boxer, I guess, if you want to say that, versus an MMA fighter turned boxer, if you want to say that too. But uh, I can't really take too much from this fight. It was entertaining. There was moments that Jake Paul looked good, and then Nate Diaz had his moments a little bit. He had that little thing that got the crowd going. But definitely an event to say the least.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely an event, and like you said, both guys have their moments. Obviously, Jake Paul had a lot of the better moments. That fifth down knockdown was pretty nice, but
Mm.
I mean, it's just like you said, Nate Diaz looked like an MMA guy in there. I really just want to see this guy get in there with a boxer at this point. I mean, Jake Paul is saying he wants world title aspirations still, and I mean, he's not gonna get there with fighting these type of guys. So just really just want to see him get in there with the in the ring with a real boxer. But to kind of talk about this fight a little more, I mean, Jake Paul, he looks a lot better every time he gets out there in the ring. His combinations look better, his movement looks better, and I just remember from his first couple fights, he did not look like a boxer in there, and he's really, really does look like a boxer now.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I would say his boxing stance is good. Here's my thing. Jake Paul, I think is competent. Like he's definitely trained in the sport a good amount, understands the concept of a lot of things, but I feel like he might think a little too high of himself in that boxing ring. He does things that at his level he shouldn't be doing, like the way he drops his hands. He's not like like pro boxers at the highest level, they drop their hands because they know like they're either setting something up, they're trying to be efficient with their balance. That's another thing, keeping their hands down. And it's just, I don't think Jake Paul's doing it for those reasons. Just got to keep him up. That's one thing for sure. But definitely looks solid. I'll say that for sure.
And also another thing too is he used his jab a lot in the beginning of the fight and kind of got away from it later on the fight. I don't know if that was he was just trying something different or he just forgot about it, but the jab was working in the beginning and he was keeping Nate Diaz at kind of at length a little bit. So I mean, just kind of keep that and let it keep going if it's working. So I don't know why he kind of went away from it.
Yeah, seeing the game plan all the way through, that's definitely something that could he could definitely improve upon. I think he was just really trying to go for it though. Like,
Hmm.
yeah. At the same time, though, Nate Diaz, he's solid. He's been in there with killers when it comes to fighting all around. So definitely has taken elbows, taken knees to the face, and all that. I didn't think Jake Paul was gonna put him out, and he wasn't. Even though he knocked him down and it was a clean knockdown, he wasn't really ever close to putting him out.
He
Nate
did
Diaz,
look tired though at the end of the fight though.
yeah, definitely looked gassed out. Might have been a little busy before the fight. Uh, yeah, Nate Diaz though, as a boxer, I don't really have much to say about him as a boxer. He got the bag, and that's why I'm happy to see because probably never got a bag like this in the UFC. Actually, fought Conor McGregor twice. Yeah,
he,
probably. What was that?
yeah, he probably made a pretty good amount of money with those two.
Yeah, true. But it's like I don't know. It's just when it comes like the pay per view structure with boxing, he might have taken home more with this. It's just I'm not sure. I'm glad to see though him getting a bag, especially now that he's way past his best. I don't even want to say a little past his best. I feel like Nate Diaz's best was damn near a decade ago.
Mhm.
But yeah, as far as what's next for Jake Paul, real boxers. Yeah, he just needs to be the real boxer because couldn't be Tommy Fury at the end of the day. This fight doesn't really change anything about that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I don't really know who he fights next because of like kind of where his weight division's at. He's kind of fluctuating up there, but just get in there with the ring with a real boxer and kind of see how it goes. Tommy Fury was really the first one that's he's been in there with, so let's get him in there with another one. I would love to see that. And since he's got world title aspirations, like I said earlier, if he can get in there with a real boxer, we'll really, really start to see how he can move up in these maybe rankings.
Yeah, very far way to go though, as far as rankings and stuff. I wouldn't even rate this man. Like it's not worth giving him a number rating. I guess like
If they
Whoever,
want to make money, they will though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if it makes money, it makes sense at the end of the day. And the business side of boxing, they love money, so that's how it is.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, they're definitely gonna go with the route that makes them the most money, but we also had another fight on this. Amanda Serrano defended her undisputed title for the first time against Heather Hardy, and this was a pretty dominant fight by Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
Kind of expected. Heather Hardy, they fought in 2019. Pretty much went the same way. I would say this was probably more dominant, and honestly, not really too much more to say about this, and just
Mm-mm.
kind of Heather Hardy is a dog though for being able to go all 10 rounds in this fight. I thought at one point she may get put out, and the doctor I think came and looked at her in the ninth round or something. But I mean, Amanda Serrano dominated this fight.
Yeah, straight up domination. Heather Hardy, 41 years old, still hanging on like that, I guess. That's something to shout her out for, but easy W for Serrano. Not really too much to take away from this fight. And yeah, as far as what's next for Amanda Serrano, though, I feel like there's
Dude, a
definitely some.
big fight.
Oh yeah, big fan of the potential opponent, but the main name to talk about is definitely Alicia Bumgarner. There's talks of Serrano moving up to challenge Alicia Bumgarner, and that would be one of the biggest fights in all of women's boxing for sure. Stylistically, I think that'd make for a great fight, but I've got my opinions on that. I'm not gonna lie, and uh, I'm not gonna get into that until that is set in stone because that'd be a huge fight to talk about if it actually gets made.
Oh yeah, and I honestly just thought it was pretty cool that Alicia Bumgarner was calling this fight too. So Sean Porter at times was asking her, "So how do you think you would fare up against Amanda Serrano?" I thought that was really funny, and she was kind
Yeah.
of. I don't think she was one of giving away too much of her stuff, but she did say some things. But I think that would be an awesome mega fight right there in women's
Mm,
boxing, just in not even just in women's boxing and boxing in general. But
not a
I
doubt.
would I would love to see that fight, and hopefully it can maybe happen later on this year.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time in 2023. Serrano's all good from her performance on Saturday. Obviously, didn't swept the cards basically, and then Bumgarner had a dominant performance in her last fight. They could definitely get this done in 2023. But honestly, overall, it was, I guess you could say, a solid card for sure. Definitely a name to keep an eye out for is Ashton Sylvie?
Sylph,
Silv. Ashton Silv.
H2O.
H2O. Yeah, really looked good. And I believe he's at 10-0 now with 9 knockouts. So definitely a
Faced a
name to
solid
keep.
opponent too.
For sure. Definitely a name to keep an eye out for. So definitely stay tuned for that. And if you're looking forward to more Jake Paul content, go ahead and subscribe because whenever his next big fight gets made, we're going to be talking about it, of course, because he's making noise in boxing at the end of the day. And if you guys go ahead and leave a like on this video. We would appreciate any and all support.
Oh yeah, we appreciate all the support. And Jake Paul will be fighting on that KSI card when he'll be facing Tommy Fury on October 14th. It is later this year, so keep an eye on that. We'll be coming through with some previews for that card because that's honestly looking like it's going to be a pretty good card. But we want to give a quick shout out to 1993 BLO. Put it down in the comments for the preview in our preview video. And right, both of the fights were going to the decision, so shout out to you. But also, before we get out of here, let us know down in the comments who you want to see both of these fighters fight next, who you want to see Jake Paul or Amanda Serrano fight next. Both should honestly have some really interesting matchups coming up. But until then, peace.
Peace.